This is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Rewe Beste Wahl Choco Cookie Dough Ice Cream. Vegan chocolate and vanilla ice cream with oat syrup, with chocolate splits and cookie dough and brownie pieces. Interesting description on the very top of the thing. This is the front of it. Looks alright. It's vegan and on the basis of oats, Nutri-Score D for delicious. I hope so, at least. Let's take a quick look at the ingredients list right here, only in German, as I think this is only sold in German-speaking countries, Germany for that matter, for this particular product I think. Let's take a look at the nutrition table right here, and we've got 300 grams in 500 milliliters of volume. Let's take a quick look at the very top. Okay, we've got a little bit of foil right there, with a little pull tab right here. Let's set this aside and get our cutting board and our knife. I bought this for €2.99 yesterday, and I was recommended these specific Rewe Beste Wahl ice creams quite a few times now. Oh, it's very soft, it seems. People said they are great, and especially when I was very disappointed with the Ben & Jerry's vegan ice creams, I thought I should give this a try at some point in time. Alright, a bit of a mess with this. Where's the ingredients list? On the right one. So the left one is going back into the freezer, and I'll be back with you in just a second. I am back at the desk. Let's take off this foil on the very top that's covering it. Set this aside. Place our little top right there strategically. Let's keep the bowl to the side just so that we've got something to attend to when this drips all over the place. It does look alright on first glance, so let's just dig into the ice cream itself. So with the first scraping of the spoon through the ice cream base, I can definitely tell that this doesn't feel like regular ice cream. It feels more grainy, like little ice crystals. Not very creamy. It's okay for like one of these vegan ice creams. They never are just like ice cream. But let's see how this tastes. Now the first spoonful certainly it gives me the impression that they have used oats in this one as the ice cream base, as they have said on the packaging on the outside. It isn't actually as bad as I thought. These Ben & Jerry's ones, they say that they use almond milk and not oat milk, but the Ben & Jerry's one tastes very much like this one right here. Yeah, a bit of a crunchy piece right there. Let's take a look at these chocolatey pieces. Looks decent. Yeah, the brownie piece isn't too nice though. It doesn't really taste like a regular brownie. It's harder, it's not as squishy, not as chewy. It's kind of a weird texture. Yes, it really hasn't got that particular chewiness that you expect from brownies, which is a bit unfortunate. Let's go for another spoonful of this ice cream right here to avoid any messes in the near future. Yeah, the little crunchy chocolate split bit right here, and also parts of this cookie dough. Something I have to say about the base ice cream is that if they didn't put like chocolate and vanilla as the description of this base ice cream in there, this could be just some very cheap chocolate oat milk, and the vanilla all by itself, I don't really taste it too much. No, it really is just a mass. It doesn't leave you with a lot of creaminess either. Overall, it's not very rich in flavor, I wouldn't say. It's not heady at all. It doesn't feel as watery as the Ben & Jerry's vegan base did, but still, this is nowhere near ice cream all by itself. And it is a lot lighter, 300 grams on 500 milliliters. Yeah, the density is quite a bit lower, but it also feels like that in your mouth. It disappears quite quickly. It's not as resilient as a creamy mess in your mouth that is usually, you know, the whole enjoyment of eating like big spoonfuls of ice cream. This right here is a bit lacking in that regard. Let's take a look at one of these cookie dough pieces. looks wise, it seems to be fine. Let's see how it tastes. The cookie dough piece all by itself, it is very different from the ones that, well, I had the last time, which would be some sort of Ben & Jerry's cookie dough. It is more grainy. It is not as fine as the Ben & Jerry's ones. It feels saltier. It tastes a bit saltier in the aftertaste of it, which is surprising, I have to say. And something it certainly does do, it tastes a lot more like the cookie dough that I used to taste as a kid. It's the Ben & Jerry's one doesn't really resemble my experiences. This variety does so a lot better. Now, I think I've tried all the individual components of this particular ice cream, so I'll finish this off on my own and I'll give you my verdict in just a second. The consumption process is now complete and I'm ready to give you my points overview and the final rating. Now, the first impression of this ice cream was fine. When we cut into it, everything was looking decent. It was filled okay-ish. We saw some air pockets on the sides, not only on the top but also at the lower part about right here. And overall though, it was okay looking. Distribution of the mix-ins was decent enough, although there weren't too many to be seen in the initial cross section of the ice cream pint. But overall, it was fine. Color-wise, same story. Nothing looked off color at all. Everything looked as expected. The ice cream itself was a bit lighter in regards to the chocolate ice cream that I would have expected initially. But that's not an issue at all, I don't think. Consistency and texture-wise, that is where this thing certainly doesn't get full points, because the creaminess of these vegan ice creams, at least in my experience, has never been coming close to actual ice cream. You always have a bit of graininess, those ice crystals, because they use this oat milk, or I should maybe say the oat juice, and there is more water in there, and it isn't bound like it is in milk with fat. It just doesn't have that particular consistency to it. When you freeze it down in a mixer and create ice cream, it doesn't get that particular texture, which is a bit unfortunate, but overall it is okay. I mean, you're getting these vegan ice creams because you want to substitute for regular ice cream, and as long as they are not a brick of ice, I guess, you can glance over some minor defects in the overall profile of these things. Something that was surprising to me were these cookie dough pieces. Now, the cookie dough pieces that I had previously in other ice creams usually are quite soft. These ones right here were a lot more grainy than the other ones I've had previously, for example from Ben & Jerry's, but they also were a lot harder, which is not a bad thing. I did enjoy these actually. Something that I didn't quite enjoy was maybe that the salt and or sugar in those, that was still too rough. I think they could have maybe gone for a bit of a finer grain of sugar and salt. I think the graininess when you bite on these cookie dough pieces, that was just a bit too much in my opinion. Taste-wise, this particular ice cream right here also cannot really compete with its non-vegan competitors. It's just lacking in flavor. The ice cream itself doesn't have a heady, rich flavor in your mouth at all. It is quite a bit more watery than regular ice cream, and you certainly do notice that even without having regular ice cream just a few minutes earlier. It's something you can't really forget when you can enjoy these particular vegan products. It's just something that haunts them, and that seems to haunt every single one of them. The cookie dough pieces were fine. Like I said, they were more like the cookie dough that I had tried as a kid. Very different from the Ben & Jerry's one. Overall quite nice though. Those little chocolatey pieces inside of there that were fine as well. The brownie pieces on the other hand, I should have mentioned that in the consistency and texture category. They were quite a bit harder. I think they were too small, and as a brownie piece, when it comes to the taste of it, it didn't really resemble brownies properly in the way it should, I think at least. It was too hard, it wasn't chewy enough. It was, I think, lacking in every single possible way. And maybe it's even a good thing that they didn't put too many of those brownie pieces in this particular ice cream. When we look at the thermalization of the ice cream, I think they did a somewhat decent job with it. I think they could have put more cookie dough pieces in here, that certainly. But as a vegan ice cream, this one right here is actually one of the better ones that I've had up until this point. Usually they are awful, especially the Ben & Jerry's ones. I didn't like them at all. You pay like $7, sometimes $8 for an ice cream pint, and I myself didn't even want to finish them. I think the brownie one, that was okay. Chocolate fudge brownie. I do not really remember what it was called, but the other ones weren't good at all. And at €2.99, this one right here does seem to be a much better choice overall. I think I can finish it, and I actually wanted kind of to finish it, although it did leave me with a bit of an empty feeling in my mouth, in my tummy, because there was a lot of air in there. The water content seems to be higher when you eat it. It doesn't feel creamy, so you notice that particular wateriness quite a bit more. And overall, it doesn't leave you as satisfied as a regular ice cream does, which is quite unfortunate when you're eating a dessert like this. But overall, I think this one was, like I said, one of the better ones that I've had. Overall, on a scale from 1 to 10, this one right here gets a 6.79. If you've got a question or a video suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.